Good morning, everybody, and welcome back to Spending Time with Gregory. I hope everybody's doing pretty good. I'm doing pretty good this morning. Guys, I wanted to come on this morning and I wanted to talk about the celebrations we had this week. We celebrated the birthday of civil rights leader Dr. Martin Luther King, guys. And it was celebrated all across the country. You saw parades, you saw speaking events. You saw a lot of things going on to celebrate the birthday of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. And I felt it not robbery not to come on Spending Time with Gregory and give honor to Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. And in all my videos, I like to self-reflect. I like to talk about, what my journey and what a lot of things meant to me or mean to me. And as I self-reflect on the celebration this week of Dr. Martin Luther King, I think about my journey, growing up. I was born in 1966, and Dr. Martin Luther King was assassinated in 1967. So I was 1 year old when he was assassinated. And growing up in school, when they taught history, I learned a lot about, and in my house, my mom or family members talked about Dr. Martin Luther King. But as I self-reflect and I think about, my life and my journey, as a young man growing up in Fort Lauderdale, Florida, or let's say America, United States, I remember my mom, she was taking me to get ice cream one time. And I was a little kid, and I could read. I guess I was just starting to read, but I was real young. And she used to take us, me and my sister, on Federal Highway in Dania Beach, Florida, to buy ice cream. And I remember going to the ice cream shop and, standing in line, waiting to get ice cream. And there was a water fountain on the side of the ice cream parlor. And I walked over to the water fountain to drink some water, get drinks of water. And I remember seeing on the water fountain, it said colored and it said white. And my mom, she was looking at me and she watched as I stopped and looked. And she pointed to the colored. So I used the colored water fountain. But I was a kid and I didn't understand, why it was colored and it was white. I really didn't. And as I got older and became an adult, in more education and more history, I realized why it said colored and white. So that was, part of my video journey. That was part of my, something that kind of stuck out with me as a kid. I guess you could say it was traumatic at the time. So I don't know if I questioned my mom, but I know she pointed me to the right water fountain. I don't know if I questioned her at the time. But I remember I was going to college, and I was 18 years old. And I went to a small college in North Carolina, small HBCU. It's called Elizabeth City State University. And I remember going to college, and as a freshman, I was 18 years old, and my major was political science. I wanted to be a lawyer. I went to college, I wanted to be a lawyer. Yeah, I wanted to be a lawyer. And I remember in my government class, they picked some of the students to work on, in 1984, Jesse Jackson's presidential campaign. And I was one of the students that they picked. And our job was to work on the campaign. We were to travel throughout North Carolina and find people, campaign on people to vote during the election. And we rode in vans. We had two vans, and like I said, I was 18 years old. They had two vans, And I remember us traveling from, we took maybe, I think a month or 2 months, out from our classes. And it was a part of our government class. And we rode throughout North Carolina, and we was getting people to go out and vote during the 1984 election. And I remember going into these small towns. And I learned in school about Harriet Tubman in the Underground Railroad. You learned about Harriet Tubman in school, how she, helped, slaves get free under the Underground Railroad. Now, in North Carolina, they had this system. In 1984, it was called the Underground Railroad. And what happened was, when we students working on the campaign, because we were working for a black politician, Jesse Jackson, when we came to these little small towns, they had these prominent black, business people. They either business people, doctors, or lawyers, but prominent black people would let us stay at their houses, at night. We didn't stay in hotels. We stayed at their houses at night. And during the day, we would go out and we would, help, with, getting black people to come out and vote. Now, that was interesting to me because here I am, 18-year-old freshman in high school, and they're calling this, in these different cities of North Carolina, the Underground Railroad, where, you would stay in these prominent people's houses, and in the daytime you would come out. Because they didn't want the community or I don't want to know if they use the word racist people or the people that were still, racist, to know that we were working on the campaign of a black politician. That was interesting, that was really interesting, something to be a part of. But, I wanted to self-reflect and talk about the impact of, Dr. Martin Luther King's birthday and the celebration means to me, guys. And it's an eye-opener for me throughout my life. I've recognized, civil rights leaders as heroes, working hard for not just black people, but for all people, for white people, for, Hispanics, for, whatever, Italian, whatever. They worked for all people, guys. So thank you for letting me share that. You guys, thank you for spending time with Gregory. Make sure to like, subscribe. See you guys in my next video, guys. Have a nice day.